And by adding these items into sessions, you can gradually build up a session or a class. And then by adding more and more sessions, you can create a whole course. So I'll just go ahead and go and show you how to add another session, and then we'll come back and go through each of these one by one. So here is the whole course that we're working on. We've put in, just to recap, we've put in a course material, which is just an apple, but obviously you can put in more interesting things than that. And we've put in one session, we've called it class 1, and we haven't added any items. We can add another session, and then that's session 2, and I'll rename that to class 2, I suppose, and save that. Now we've got 2 sessions, and we called them class 1 and class 2. Let's go back to class 1, and this time we're going to add an item in. So let's add an item, and we come back to this list. We only talked about it, but we didn't pick one. So let's pick the first one and create that item. And what we have in front of us now is a little word processor type of thing. So you can make it bigger. You can go full screen like so. And this is just the similar functionality to something like Word, for example, but probably a bit better in some ways because it doesn't have so much stuff in it that you don't need. It's just something to make a standard document with. So we'll put in a sort of a label for it, a title, and that'll come up sort of as a heading when it's listed in along the side menu. So let's just put in introduction. Introduction, and so we'll go in and we'll put in, I'll just do something simple as an illustration. We'll put in a heading, so it's actually the same as something like Word. Heading of document, enter, and then I'll say body goes here, and we can you can either just copy paste a picture straight in, or you can use this to get a picture off a file. So I'll put the orange in. So there's 2 different ways. So that's got picture. So it's just create a Word document the same as you would anything else, and you can even use shortcut keys to get Control I is italics, and bold face, whatever you like, underline, Control U, I think. Yep. Okay, so you go ahead and create whatever you like there, and then that'll come up. So then when you're happy with that, you come down the bottom, and there's always this save. Each type of item you have has a save button. It also has some tips, just anything that you've forgotten. So if you press save, and then the tips have all gone. So you've done each part of this item. So that's the first type of item. So let's go ahead and add another item. So when you add an item, you always get, if you create an item, you get another add item button below, and that means that you can just add a new one. So I'll add the second type. Now this time we're going to set a written assessment task. We'll go in here, and this top part looks familiar because it's just the same as the previous one. So let me just put something in here. I'll call it task 1, and I'll just put in a heading, task 1 instructions, and then I'll say instructions go here, ... and we can put in another picture, an apple, and then we come down here. Now we've got a bit more information that we can provide this time. because this is an assessment task. It's not purely just a document that they're going to see. It's going to be a little bit interactive. They're going to see it and then they're going to be able to respond. So we've got a few details that we can put in. We don't have to. You can leave these out, but these are handy because what you can do is first of all say when their response is due by. And you'll see here that you get a drop-down list of the sessions that I've put in. I've called them Class 1 and Class 2. So what might happen if you come here and you say, no, I want this to be ready, much further into the future. I haven't made that session yet. Then what you can do is add them now. So I'll just give you two options. What I could do is say, this is due next class, in Class 2. Or if I wanted it to be due in like 3 or 4 classes in the future, then I just go down here and I just, oops, I forgot to save changes. So this brings up, if you move away without saving, it'll give you a prompt. So I do want to save, so I'll say, come down to the bottom and save. Now, back to what I was talking about, due by session, I want it to be due, after about, further into the future, but I haven't made those sessions yet. So all you have to do is just add session, until you have sort of the number you want. So one way to build it up is first of all create the skeleton. So I want to create I want to have five sessions. Maybe there's 5 weeks or whatever. So 5 sessions. So I'll just make them there as a skeleton and leave them as empty. And then I'll come back to the one I'm working on, and here I am. So if I go there, now they're all available. So yeah, okay, good. Now I want to choose it to be due by, let's say, the second last one, the 4th session. Now, we go through these minimum number of words. These are just very self-explanatory. Let's say it has to be at least 50 words. It can't be more than 100 words. Minimum paragraphs, it could be 1 paragraph. Maximum number of paragraphs. You don't have to put these in, but I'll just put something in. Keyword. I want them to mention my name, which is, let's pretend I'm an egotist or something. Let's put my name in there. Now, we come down here and assignment guide, visible to assessing purposes only. So here, this is like a little guide that will go to the assessors when they see something that the student did. So you can put a little thing in here to tell them how to mark it. So I'm going to say, look out. I don't know. I'm not a teacher in a course or in the course or anything. There isn't even a course that we're talking about. This is all hypothetical, but it could just be. I can't think of anything. Mark like this. Mark like this. ... So I'll leave it to teachers to work out exactly how they want people to mark. But I assume they have some opinion on the issue. Now, moving right along, we've got 2 options here: allow multiple responses or signature required. So I'm going to come back and do these at the end because these are like little advanced options. But just to say briefly, multiple responses means that the student can, maybe it's something they've got to do every week. So if I can do this now, they'll be able to respond now and then add another one later and another one later. It might be a log or something. They can put one in every day. So I'm going to leave that as no. This is just a single response. They're asked to do something and have to do it, and then that's all over. So I'll leave that as unticked, but I'll come back with another video at the end and show you how it worked if it is ticked. Signature required means when they submit what they've done, they get a little signature pad that they have to scribble their actual signature on. So that's pretty cool. I won't tick that though this time. We'll come back at the video at the end to look at those 2 features. Now, the next you get another little word processor now, and you can put in a response template. So the student has to make a document, right? So what if the teacher could create the sections that they want the student to complete and put in a bit of a template? So I'll say, let me give you an example. Heading, obviously. So this is a way of sort of getting them to do something a little bit consistent, so they're not all over the shop, as well as teaching them how to put a document together. In introduction, talk about X or something. You might say that, or you might not. I don't know. And then body, but that one was heading to. You could also put some more information here. Talk about X, and like you could say how long the intro should be. Only a few lines or something. So you can put a bit more information in here. Body, don't forget. No, ... You might say something there. Whatever you like to do, and then conclusion. And this is just an example I made up, but and then you shouldn't introduce new material. I think, is that true about in conclusions? Material, just discuss what you have presented. Something like that. Whatever the teacher is trying to, sort of writing skills that they're trying to convey to the students. And also there may be a particular standard format of a document that they're trying to encourage. So that's useful. So we've created a template, and they will get that as a starting point. You could put a picture in the template, but we won't do that. So let's save, and then we'll have a look at the tips and see if there's one tip. Enter a maximum number of marks. So we forgot to. The marker will not know what it's out of. They'll all have different numbers and they'll be meaningless. So that was a good tip. Let's say it's out of 100. And now we'll save. And this time the tips are all gone. So this is complete. So now we've done the first two. Let's add another item over here, and we get these options again. So we've added one of those types of items. We've added one of those types of items. And now we're up to the third type of item.